There are many religions across the entire world. Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism, Islam, Judaism. But there's one religion in particular that triumphs above all others, whether you like it or not. The only one true religion, some might say, and that is Christianity. Not because it's necessarily right about anything, but because in practically every corner of the world, everyone abides by the fact that it is the year 2024. Not because the world started 2024 years ago. It's not even close. But because Jesus was born then. They could have chosen anything else as the definitive period to start modern civilization. They could have chosen when Adam and Eve spawned into the earth. But the Christians chose Jesus. Not only did they choose it, but the rest of the world did too. Now some of you might be wondering, what the hell does a calendar have to do with white people? I mean, not all Christians are white, and not all white people are Christian. But ask yourself this, what does Jesus look like? In all mainstream depictions of Jesus, he's portrayed in a holy way as a beautiful white guy with golden hair and a soft glow showcasing his aura. But in reality, he was just a Jew with a hooked nose. In fact, Jesus was described as so unremarkable that Judas had to point out which Jew Jesus was to the people arresting him because he didn't look like the chosen one at all. A far cry from the beautiful white guy that everyone knows him by. It's come to a point that in modern times, we don't even question that Jesus wasn't white. It's actually weird to see Jesus portrayed in any other way. Like, what if Jesus had Iverson braids? That would be weird, right? The idea of showing Jesus as a white guy with gold locks comes from when Christianity was taking over the Roman Empire in the 2nd century. No one knows exactly how Christianity spread to the most powerful empire in Europe at the time, but it did, and with it spread the ideas of Christ through art. And on top of that, even though ancient Greece fell to Rome during 1st century BC, a lot of the ideas and culture that the Greeks developed were naturally admired by the Romans as well, including the long hair and scruffy beard look, which was associated with the sophistication of Greek philosophers, which ended up becoming white Jesus' trademark as well. But can we talk about Jesus for a moment though, like as the entity he is? Right, what made him so captivating to the most dominant civilization of that era, that in a matter of a couple decades, it went from being outlawed in Roman society to the one that took it over and the rest of the world too. Even though Jesus was not white, I consider him to be the greatest white person of all time. Because all in all, Jesus' story up until his crucifixion is identical to that of one of those cult leaders who attract a lot of losers with no direction in life by promising them enlightenment, instead using the power they get from their followers that don't know any better to get a nut off or commit terrorist attacks. But what separates Jesus from the rest of the cult nerds that think they're the Son of God is that Jesus actually died for the people that followed him. He got pinned to a cross. He got nails shoved into his hands and feet. He was bled out, he was tortured, and he did it all for his followers. He did all that for your sins. Remember, Jesus had superpowers. He performed miracles. He turned water into wine. He didn't need to go through all of that. He had the divine ability to avoid it for God's sake, but he willingly accepted being crucified as God's plan for the redemption of humanity. I mean, none of this is real, of course, but put yourself in the shoe of an apostle that witnessed the leader they followed every single word of die like that, and then watch him get resurrected 3 days later, and then watch him go off into heaven 40 days later. Why would you not passionately tell everybody in the world that he's the greatest? I'm sure most of you come across a group of Christian evangelists in their tucked in suits and their miniature Bibles they hand out for free that go door to door to explain why Jesus is so great. We might get pissed off because we're trying to get to work, but I kinda get it now. No other religion does missionary like the Christians do. The Jews have always kept to themselves because they think they're the chosen people. Muslims, they kill you if you're not Muslim, but Christians actively try to spread the joy they feel to others to an obnoxious level because that's what Jesus died for. And that's the standard they have to live up to. And so in the context of world conquest, why would you not want a guy like that as the ambassador of your whole race? And so by combining the power of white people with the power of Jesus, we get the perfect recipe for global hegemony. This is why white people are subconsciously worshipped by everyone in the entire world. In the US now, 75% of black Americans identify as Christian, and this is directly tied to their slave ancestors being Christian as well. Because black people didn't become Christian one day because they wanted to. No, they were taught it by the Americans they were enslaved by. The same way plantation owners used Christianity to justify slavery, the slaves also used it to feel empowerment in these times as well. And eventually Christianity was used in the context of abolitionism when slaves were freed too. The Soviet Union realized the power of Christianity in their efforts to revolutionize Russia and the world through communism as well. Stalin abolished the Gregorian calendar and banned Christianity in favor of atheism when he got into power because he realized that communism cannot exist cohesively unless Christianity is removed from the people's psyche. He abolished the 5 days on, 2 days off work week, instead making a new Soviet calendar with vacations based on revolutionary events, along with a 5-day work week with a day of rest to rotate throughout the week, meaning people had different rest days depending on their occupation. He did all this to abolish the capitalist Christian system. system, but fail to realize the reason why the Gregorian calendar works so well in the first place. And that's because Saturdays are for the boys and Sundays for the church. In the Soviet calendar, families and friends had different work days and different rest days in order to keep the industries open every day in order to industrialize faster. But people aren't machines. They need to kick it with the homies. They need to pray to the Lord. And so Stalin's efforts of revolutionizing the calendar failed. All this going to show that kicking it with the boys after a long day is a Christian tradition. And if you take that away from the people in the name of revolution, well, you're not white anymore. You're a communist. Ever since the age of discovery, where Western Europeans spread their ideals to the rest of the world, it was Jesus that put a band-aid on all the trouble that this conquest caused. During the discovery of America, when the natives were ravaged and their land was stolen, it was Christian missionaries that told them, you'll be alright, Jesus died for your sins. And it kinda works. The Cherokee people, which are one of the major indigenous tribes in the United States, adopted Christianity into their lifestyle in order to not get deported. It's an infinite white guilt glitch where you conquer and ravage, and then you apologize, and then you conquer and ravage again, and then you apologize, and then you keep doing it again and again, and somehow you get no meaningful repercussion. It's genius, really. But there's obviously asterisks to this. One of them is you gotta create a free society where the people you oppress get to make fun of you. Because if you don't, they're just gonna kill you, and you don't want them to kill you. There's a famous quote that goes, to learn who rules over you, simply find out who you're not allowed to criticize. But that's a bygone way of thinking of things. The better quote, I think, goes, to learn who rules over you, simply find out who you're allowed to criticize, but can't really do shit about. The world makes fun of Jesus all the time. You can't do what Lil Nas X did to Jesus to any other prophet and get away with it. But that's just a testament to how secure Jesus' place in the world really is. His doctrine is that he loves everyone willing to believe in him. And anyone can believe in Jesus. From emperors to slaves, from Semites to pagans, from blacks to whites. After all, he died for everyone. But he can't have Iverson braids. That would be weird.